Boxing King Media in association with Boxraw. This ain't Poland, this is Manchester. With me, Oliver Spence. Have you recovered? Are you well?
Do you know what? I have recovered. Like, a little bit of a sore throat still, but it was what a week out there. What a week, surrounded by controversy. Was the shot low? You know, was the waistband shot low or not low? You know, it was everything we expected, to be fair. Out there, 45,000 Ukrainians in the place. It was an emotional week because of Independence Day. And USYK got the job done, but you felt that it was more Dubois lost the fight as opposed to USYK winning it. Does that make sense? Because in my opinion, it was not a low blow. It hit the waistband, yes, but the shorts were quite high. Anyone that knows, it was up here. I mean, I know you see various photos around. Photos don't really tell when you see the stills, don't tell the story because the shot still goes up. When you're there and you're watching it live, you saw the shot go in, he was genuinely hurt from a body shot. If he'd been hit up the balls, he'd be holding his balls. So that's what fighters do. They roll around, they're holding their balls. He was genuinely winded from a body shot. He done what he should do. He used his experience. Took the full 5 minutes. The referee was always going to give him that because he ruled it an accidental low blow. He got up at 3 minutes 40 or something like that. Referee told him to continue. Dubois then should have jumped on him. He missed his opportunity. He didn't jump on him. USYK was still hurt for about 40 seconds after that, and he missed the opportunity. And then USYK does what he does best. You know, he turned the screw, and as we got into round 7, round 8, he knocked Dubois down. You knew that was the beginning of the end. It was one of those. It was, it was a shame that, like I say, he missed that opportunity. But that's boxing, man. That's the way it goes. Yeah, go on.
I mean, I've spoken to Joe Gallagher earlier today, Shane McGuigan, Jamie Moore yesterday, who all say it was low. Spoken to yourself, Johnny Nelson, others who say it wasn't low. The fact that we can't come to a conclusive conclusion, right, even with images and watching the video in slow motion, shows how difficult of a decision that is for a referee while he's in the ring.
Well, the referee's got a split second, doesn't he? And that determines what it is. Look, he was always going to be on Alexander Usyk's side with what was going on, Independence Day, that whole surrounding thing. Like, it was an emotional night in there anyway. The shot landed on the waistband. Now, speaking to Don Charles and the team, they said when they had those rules meetings, the referee said waistband and above is okay, not waistband and below is no good. So, you know, the shot landed waistband. He ruled it immediately a accidental low blow. Give him 5 minutes to recover. It is what it is. What Daniel Dubois should have done, and I think that Don Charles, Daniel Dubois, and the whole of the team know this. In hindsight now, when they look back on it, he should have rolled the dice, man. He should have went there and he should have just gone for it. And he allowed Usyk to get into that rhythm, like I say. It was a shame. I feel sorry for Daniel. You know, in the circumstances, Frank Warren's appealing it. Good luck to them. Hope they get the appeal. Hope he gets the shot again, but opportunity missed.
So what about the notion that people are saying that Daniel didn't want to continue when he got knocked down? He got up just after the 9th. The referee counted to 9. And from his demeanour, people said, look, I'm not going to say the word he quit because fighters fight. Fighters don't quit. It's very rare for that to happen. But he's getting that notion against him to say that he maybe quit. What are your thoughts?
He didn't quit. He blew a gasket in round 7. Usyk does what he does best, right? He makes what fighters work when they're not even working. He's great with his footwork. He pressures them. He peppers away out of that southpaw stance. Peppers away with a jab, comes through the crosses. He flicks his punches, and he takes a lot of energy away from his opponents. Like I say, after that 5th round, Dubois had a good 6th and 7th round, and that's where he blew the gasket. Then Alexander Usyk recognised that he was getting tired, turned the screw, had a good 8th round, floored Dubois in the 8th round, and the 9th round, in my opinion, Dubois knew that he couldn't do anything about it. He couldn't turn it around, and that's pretty much where he's at. Look, he's young. He's 25 years of age. He can come again. You know, I hate it when people say, oh, he spewed it, he didn't want it. You got to be in that moment. You don't know what's going on in Daniel Dubois' head. You know, he knows when enough's enough. He was looking at the corner, spoke to Don Charles about this as well. Don said, I knew he was hurt, trying to keep him there as long as possible. He told him to rise at 9, but like I said, like I said to Don, I said, listen, when you tell a fighter to get up at 9, there's a great chance the referee's going to stop the fight. If you want the fight to continue, you have to get up at 7. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to rise, man, and show the referee I'm ready. So getting up at 9, some referees, very few, would say box on, In that situation, referee stopped it. But the writing pretty much was on the wall then anyway. Usyk was in his rhythm, showed what a great fighter he is.
Daniel was asked about Tony Bellew's comments, and Daniel said the following: "They're all haters. They sound like haters. You've got to know who your enemies are right now. So what they've got to say is expected. Really, we knew before that."
I think it's just one of those. It's subjective, isn't it? What people think and what people don't think. Like I say, I was there at ringside. I saw the shot go in. I've seen the replays. I've seen the caption shots of the stills and whatnot. I still stand by what I say. The shot was a legitimate shot. It landed in the stomach. Whether technically it was a waistband shot and the referee ruled it an accidental low blow, in my view, that shot still landed in the stomach. Wherever the waistband was, it was in the stomach. It didn't hit him in the bollocks. That is for sure. I was there. It didn't hit him in the bollocks. So for me, I think that he was robbed of the opportunity, and that's where I stand on it. And I will stand on that. I don't care what anyone else says, any fighter says. For me, it was a legitimate punch.
Eddie Hearn has revealed that he's now started talks with VADA about potentially creating Matchroom Zone equivalent to WBC's clean boxing program, which would see all Matchroom fighters signed up to VADA 365.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Listen, more testing the better. In the state of what's been going on in recent times, in the amount of fighters that are now getting caught with adverse findings, etc. And every fighter says, "No, I can't be. I've signed up to this or whatever, it's voluntary." Well, we know about the VADA testing. That is part of the WBC clean-up program. If you don't do the VADA testing, you don't get in the WBC rankings. So when they do get caught, they say, "Well, why would I sign up to voluntary testing?" Because you want to go in the WBC rankings. But it's good for the sport as a whole. I just think that the bans need to be stronger. Bans need to be harder to make fighters think twice about doing it, because like I say to you, at elite level there's a lot of fighters doing it, and I think that's the problem. Because one fighter knows the other one's doing it, they're doing it. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting advice from their teams or whatever it is. What I'm saying is there's too much going on in the sport, and whether people think that I'm just saying it for the sake of saying it or for numbers or for whatever it is, it's not. It's for the health and safety of the sport. Everyone that boxes has got families, and you want them boxers to go home to their families. It's a dangerous sport. People get hurt, people get killed in the ring. So let's not have performance-enhancing drugs making it even more dangerous. That's where I'm at on it. I want to clean up the sport.
Spence, I know you said more testing is good, and that's fantastic, what Eddie has stated, but also do we need to have a clean-up of the process itself? Like, who handles the process? Because right now we don't know where we sit with UCAD, the board, with VADA. So that sounds very good, but also do you agree that we need to sort out the process in itself?
100%. Do you know what? I've done something. A show that I do, Talk Boxing with Simon Jordan, come out yesterday, and Simon went in depth about how this can change and how we do it. And honestly, I was mesmerised by it, because I'm one that go, how do we do it? How do we, I spoke to a woman, a drug officer who works for VADA, and she said about the Gareth A. Davis thing and how Gareth was saying, you can get the test back in the day. She said, it doesn't work like that. Our process, how it's always worked, is 10 to 12 days. Time it gets tested, sent to the lab, gets tested, sent back. That's when the results come back. So I said, how is that a benefit when you get like the Alicia Baumgardner situation where she tests 3 days before and gets the test back a month after? She said, well, this has always been the process, and that's what needs changing. That we need to, if the tests are done on the 3 days before, we need to get them before that fight, because the event of another fighter getting injured in the ring, then it's crazy, isn't it? So I like the VADA, love the idea of VADA being able to turn up at your door at any given time, because that doesn't give fighters the chance if they're doing it. But we need to get the testing in quicker. That is really, really important, and I think that this is the beginning of changing of times. It's great that Matchroom are doing this and implementing more drug testing systems. I think that's great. We've got UCAD, we've got VADA, but I just think that now we need to make it tighter. We need to get the testing back quicker, and more importantly, the fighters need to get bigger bans if it is a performance-enhancing drug. It's important.
Simon Jordan calling Chris Eubank Jr. a charlatan on TalkSport today. Did you see that?
Well, yeah, it wasn't that word today. That was
yesterday.
But that was quite a while ago that he actually said that. That was on the show that we done a couple of months ago originally, when he first said that. So I think he said yesterday he stands by what he said about him being a charlatan. Listen, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? And Simon's very outspoken, and And you know, I think that Simon Jordan is good for the sport for many reasons. You know, because I think he can change a lot of stuff that's going on within the sport, and it's a sport that he's passionate about. But like I say, have a look at that Talk Boxing show, right? And you see when he talks about the testing system and how it can be changed and everything else. Very, very technical what he was saying. And like I say, I was just blown away. I'm like, really? Wow, that you take it to another level. Great show.
Spence, appreciate your time. I know your voice is going. I will reserve the EUBANK Smith.
Mate, we need it for tomorrow, man. The press conference tomorrow, weigh-in Friday, a big fight night Saturday. Interesting fight, this one, because of how conclusive the first one was. Who would have said the rematch? You'd be sitting there going, okay. The EUBANK is that, you know, he's taking himself off, gone over to Vegas, training now with Bomac, great trainer, trains the likes of Terence Crawford. You know, spoke to Bomac, by the way, about this, and he said, I said, what are you going to change? What are you going to do different? You know, like, because for me, it's all about Chris EUBANK staying switched on for 3 minutes of each round. Bomac says, listen, we're not going to change a lot. It's all about back to basics, stripping it back to basics and getting him focused and staying switched on. So, could be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens over the next couple of days.
Spence Oliver, thank you for speaking to Boxing King Media.
Right.